Hello and welcome to True Tempo. It is once again time for me to jump into battle with Izzet. The last time I played games, is this true? Yeah, the last video I made, I had a couple of replay games, but the week before that, I had an Izzet league with something similar to this, with 4 cutter and 3 flow state, and the prowess setup with Storm Chaser's talent and Boomerang basics, and so that and the basic mountain, which is nice. Um, so that build is trying to find the best balance of early attacks with the otter tokens and DRC, but also with the grind of Boomerang and Flow State and Cutter. So trying to be somewhat aggressive, but having plenty of card advantage, which I think is good. And it definitely might be better than what we have in front of us. But I wanted to try this old darling Snapcaster Mage because the decks we need to beat, well, we have a lot of important one-drop spells, CMC1 spells, like especially Consign. Surgical is nice as well, and Snapcaster Surgical is efficient, pretty efficient. We have a bunch of flow states where Pyroblast is sweet. We have Barragoyf. Barragoyf is always an issue for Izzet. In the Storm Chaser builds, we just bounce it. Basically, that's the only answer, which is sometimes good enough, but not always. If you don't play that enchantment, which makes Barragoyf a 6/7 in long games, then Unholy Heat is pretty reliable at shooting it. So having Snapcaster Unholy Heat makes us be able to go late against any deck, basically. Not all decks, of course, but most of the field we can kind of tussle with going late with the setup like this. So if you look between this in the 75, I have a playset of Heat, of Consigns, of Pyroblasts. So it's pretty dedicated. I still have my Pyroclasms for Madu or just Energy, Boros and Madu Energy. I don't have any answers for Merit Lage, which is a thing. I don't have any answers for Chalice when it's resolved, but we have plenty of counters, so maybe that's okay. I think it's okay. But yeah, the big question is Snapcaster Mage playable in this day and age? I don't know. I've played one game, which I'm gonna go through in replay mode, and then I'm gonna play the rest of the league, which is the first league with Snapcaster. But my thinking is that Snapcaster, sorry, is nice in several ways. My idea came after I played against a control deck playing Snapcaster. But the fact that it triggers Cutter, it's a spell and it plays another spell. So in top deck mode or like low resource mode, this is a nice way to get going. Put make some board presence. It's also a way to flashback flow state, of course. So in the really grindy games, we have a bunch of flow states if we want it. It's not a good card with days, but as I talked about in the last video, it's especially against Sneaking Show that I want days. It's really not a lot of matchups, like very few that I'm eager to have days. Sometimes it's fine. It's always fine, I'd say, but it's pretty often not better than that. And sometimes it's just not what's up. I bought it out a lot. So this might be too clunky, too heavy. Not having days, I could definitely see that. And I could like remove a Pierce and a Snapcaster and play 2 days and have something maybe better than this. But I like going just a bit over the top when I try stuff. I have the Preordain because I'm not playing Delvers or other tokens, like Storm Chaser talents. So one more cantrip to find the cutter. Yeah, main deck Force of Negation. Basically, when you have a lot of like card advantage or card advantage adjacent cards, I'm talking about cutter here, then you can play more pitch spells. And I feel like in this format, it's a very diverse format, but you have a like the linear decks that they really demand you. They ask you to have a force or two pretty quick, and then you have a bunch of creature decks in the format where I feel like having 4 bolt, 4 heat, and 3 Snapcaster alongside card advantage is going to be a recipe for success. The 2 basics, like the mountain, is a part of this, of course. So yeah, let's see if this is too clunky or if it works. I'm going to start with the replay game, and I'm just going to mention as well that I have a Patreon where I am not very active at the moment, but I do have some nice content, I think, written that you can access for free if you're a member. And if you have a bunch of money, you're welcome to donate some to me, and if not, that's fine as well. Basically, the content is free, and if you want to pay, I won't hate you for it. Okay, let's look at some games. Okay, before I start the recording of the games, I'm playing against a friend. True Futurism is a friend of mine. We used to play in the same LGS here in France. Now he moved to the big city, but I know his deck. I know who he is, and he's a awesome opponent. I think he's a candidate for the end boss in any tournament he plays in, if it's Legacy. So he's the pioneer of green post, and I don't think I know that he's building blue Tron at the moment. I follow his work. So similar to the normal Tron deck, but with the dude that costs 2 mana, where you can pay 4 and make a copy. What's the name? You know what I mean. And Force of Wills and Stock Up, I think. But basically, it's very similar. But it's a matchup I'm happy to play with my setup. I have Consigns and Pyroblasts and so on. But he's a great opponent, so you never know. Let's see how it plays out. I win the die roll. I have Wasteland and Cutter. That's good for me. Like Wasteland is one of my best cards. I sorry, I don't have the luxury of playing like a turn 1 Delver, but I can I find more Wastelands. A Wasteland here, so I can hope to just stifle his development. But he has the new card, Petrified Hamlet, so now it's a different story. I choose to develop the cutter, but he has a Force of Negation, pitching a Thunder Trap Trainer. Yeah, that's the card. Let's just pause for a moment. So he has a Hamlet and a Tower. It's not so scary, but if he plays a Planar Nexus, he has 5 mana, so that's a ring paying for days mana already. But he doesn't have a lot of cards. But yeah, it's just to say that this is what you have to think about at this point. So when I'm brainstorming, I'm pretty desperately looking for Force of Will. I also want to clock him, and I have Flow State next turn. So yeah, that's the context. I decided to keep the Chandler because that's a good clock, and I have a bunch of triggers next turn. But they have Eldrazi Confluence. I'm not super familiar, but with this card, I know it exists. but I certainly don't think to play around it. Maybe I should. So they can shoot up to 3 creatures or bounce something, which is good if it's a token, because it's exiled, or make mana, make little dudes. So yeah, basically a sweeper against me. I find a force of negation, and yeah, I have no clock. I have 1 counter. It's a bit tough. See if I can counter something. No, I cannot. I cannot force of negate that, and that finds 2 business spells. So I think I just concede here. They have Ugin and a Coslex command. So I think I'm gonna cantrip, and I just concede. Maybe this is. I don't think this is too early, but they have. Since I don't have a clock, and they're going to be able to like time it. I'm gonna force of negate on his Ugin maybe. Maybe they're not gonna play like that. I don't know. But basically, between not having a clock and having a bunch of bad cards, I feel like this game is over. But I mean, I understand if someone would play on, but I'm not. I didn't believe in it at this point. So let's check out game 2. I played yes. It's just a habit. And this is where the action is. So I have a reactive hand, a bunch of counters, no threats but cantrips, and a wasteland. So that's all good. So what do I do here? I don't waste. My thinking was that if they had a petrified hamlet, they would play that first, regardless. So they would have to draw it now. And what I want to do is have consign up if they play something important on their turn. And then maybe wasteland better lands that they play. I'm assuming they lead on the worst one and they play a better one afterwards. When I draw a second waste, that plan kind of changes, I guess. Or you could argue that I should have just wasted. But that was my thinking. But yeah. The thing is, I had Ponder. I had a bad card on top, I believe. That was the argument for just fetching before playing Preordain. Yeah. I think that's the logic behind the play. So they just play another Tron land, threatening 7 mana in theory next turn. So now it's time to waste, and yeah, they are both equally bad, equally good. They produce 2 mana when they are turned on. And Pyroblast is nice for the trainer, of course, but also to protect against their forces if they play them post-board. I'm not sure they do. I imagine they don't really, but they still have blue cards for sure. So I'm still looking for a threat, but I have cantrips. I have a cantrip and a fetch. I'm pretty happy about how this game is playing, and with all these consigns and pyroblasts, I'm not that afraid of the late game. I don't think they play like I have Ugin or something that I can't beat going super late. So basically, I'm okay going late with this setup. Drawing a bubble here is awesome because then I can hold up consign and pyro and still have a yeah, they force and I decide to protect. Now I don't get a token here, but I hold my bauble. I'm just gonna stop. Hold my bauble, so if I draw a proactive spell next turn, I get a cutter token. They play a stock up. I think it was pretty difficult to figure out whether I should force or not. I decided not to because I felt like they might be looking for lands and gas, and if it's only one business spell, maybe I can that they will then find and play next turn. I can consign it and maybe later hardcast Force of Negation and so on. Kind of spend my resources a bit more carefully, basically. So also I'm drawing a proactive spell. Now I'm on the board, and they're looking at a 3-turn clock maybe. Oh, it is. Yeah, it's not guaranteed, but it's almost guaranteed a 3-turn clock, I would think. They shut down Wasteland, doesn't matter. They only have 5 mana, and they play end of their turn. I guess they're trying to get me in like F6 town. I consign with Replicate to play around a counterspell. And the Pyroblast is very sweet. At this point, just gotta ride to victory, I'm assuming. And I let the map resolve. I'm not really sure what they have, but I just don't think they have really spicy one-off lanes in a deck like this. So having more mana is not something I'm very afraid of. With Consign, again, I counter with Replicate, and I find Snapcaster that I keep because that's a Consign. So first +1 to Snapcaster, because now I have a Consign, and otherwise I didn't have a Consign. They're facing down lethal. That is worth countering. And I'm gonna force here so I can consign, and that's the game. Sweet. And let's have a look at the third game. I'm on the draw, one lander with threats, consign. It's not the perfect hand, but it's fine. They shut down Wasteland, and I fortunately don't have any of those, because the good thing, like I'm just gonna pause here. When they do this, they have this land, and we don't have Wasteland. That's kind of a plus, because that means that they just played a bad, like, mana producing land, bad land turn 1. So their potential plays turn 2 and 3 are less strong than they could have been. All right, so I'm gonna ponder here and put one card on top. I didn't see what that was, but no worries. I want the land. I also want the consign. Not really. I don't need the brainstorm, but I want the other two. That's for sure. So I'm hoping that I don't have to fetch. Like, I have 2 consigns, but I still want the third one. It's just extremely good against them. Like, their deck is built to have gas that is not colorless, which is a small advantage when you face down a playset of consigns. And here I think I should have fetched. No, yeah, I should have fetched to look at something else, I think. Yeah, I should have fetched in response to that Seville trigger. I'm not making a move here. Even if I know my top, I'm fetching in the upkeep, so they can't catch me untapped. Or sorry, without mana available with an instant speed spell. They play a lot of instant speed spells between this one and the Confluence. So it's looking decent, but yeah, this one I cannot counter. I need to find something for the trainer. I fortunately have 2 Surveil triggers and 4 Pyroblasts in the deck. I don't find Pyroblast, but I find Force, which is also pretty good. They only get the copy if it resolves. So, okay, I have a great clock. I have Surveil doing its magic and double consign. They're on a 2-turn clock. And Ugin, I have 4 mana, so I can replicate and put 2 consigns on each, on the trigger and on the Planeswalker, which is tough to beat. I guess they could have Flusterstorm. But that's it. They don't have Flusterstorm. I choose to flow state, and I can kind of find perfect cards here. But yeah, it is not over yet, but it's gonna be over in 2 secs. Okay. So this is yeah, like I think this shows how good the matchup is post board because of Pyroblast and Consigns. Against usual Tron, you don't have Pyroblasts, so fewer, slightly fewer relevant cards. But yeah, nice round 1, and now let's play some live games. All right, so round 2, and my opponent, it's tough to figure out what they might like. They've been having results in Modern. I have a mountain. I like the mountain, but I'm not going to keep. I will keep this. So the big question is if Force of Will is good, if Bold is good. I'm like in their match history, there was some control and some Eldrazi. I'm gonna, since I'm mulliganing, I'm gonna take the bet that I'm not winning a game where I have to force, because then I'm on so few cards anyways. So I'm just gonna say I hope Bolt is good and go with that. I can fetch that mountain if I'm against anyone with Wasteland. Arid Mesa. So I saw some planes. Is this energy? It is. Okay. Well, I'll be shooting that one, but I could wait. I'll just play a land, save Chandler. Like I don't want to let them get tokens and so on. They're just attacking. I will be just shooting with a mountain. Happy I've been that Force of Will. And they say go. Wow. So they have infinite removal, is what I'm assuming. But yeah, okay, whatever. I'm gonna see what happens with my Chandler. Looking to get a sorcery in the bin. So, thing is that this is gonna die. I think I'm just gonna keep this. I should kill it before I can play more spells, more baubles. Yep. What is that? Whenever 1/3 for 2 mana, whenever another creature you control enters, this creature deals 1 damage to its opponent. Okay, so it's just kind of an aggressive way of using the synergies in energy. Offering, what does that do? You may pay an additional 2. If you do, it makes a 1/1 token copy. Okay, so fine. I'm gonna do this in the draw step to see what they're drawing in the next turn cycle. So that's not land. I'm assuming that they're just going to say go once again with a plow. With the plow up. But it also means that they have a bunch of gas. Sorry. A bunch of gas once they draw lands. That will be an issue. They are going to draw more plows. And I just think they have a plow in hand. But, I mean, I'm not going to not play my Chandler. Wasteland might be good, depending on at some point. Question is how I'm gonna play Chandler Flow State, I think. Do I show them? I don't really want to show them the Wasteland, but this fetch might be good. But I have so few cards, so the Brainstorm fetch is less relevant. I think I want them to feel like they can, if they find a fetch at some point, that they can. But they look like Boros, right? So I think they're just gonna. Yeah, I'm gonna just play the Wasteland. I'm just gonna play the Wasteland. And play Flow State, hoping to hit a Snapcaster is a card I would like, because that is card advantage. Okay, let's take the Snapcaster. Okay. And they plow now. Okay. So I guess they didn't have a plow. They kept a hand with one plow, one Ocelot Bride, and hoping to draw lands, basically. Now, I don't want a Snapcaster Flow State for like not value. I'm gonna hold up Snapcaster Bolt for the time being. But I might just bolt, and I have a bunch of mana. Ideally, I find like a Ponder, and then I Snapcaster Flow State. They can get a basic. So now I'm looking at 6 gas spells, and I have 2 answers. So that's the thing. And now they're gonna get a land. Yeah. Does it change if I kill it? Like the trigger's the same. But if they find... It should matter. But I'm gonna kill it now. Question is how. Guess I'm gonna bolt. Just gonna bolt. They can find a desert that I can wasteland. Would love a sorcery. Am I holding for a brainstorm? I think I am. But no, because I want to be able to find Ponder and then Snapcaster Flow State. But yeah, I need a cutter to put pressure. I'm pretty sure that I'm going to lose this game. Okay. They get a friend. And I'm going to shoot this right now. Now we have a Mexican standoff of 2-1s. Bad, bad, bad. Which one is better? Honestly think that their token is better. And I'm ahead damage-wise, so yeah, okay. I want to trade damage. I am in desperate need of gas. Only one volcanic left. I don't have a lot of lands for a, which is ostensibly almost a control deck. It's certainly a mid-range deck. I don't have a lot of lands for for that, but I felt like it's gonna be okay. This is not gonna be okay though. My doom is near. So, can we get... I'm holding back now to block. Yeah, this is just also the advantage of energy against other fair decks. They have so much gas, they don't have cantrips and force of negations and stuff. Just full of good creatures. Are we trading? I guess we're trading. Okay, that's a good one. Let's see if we can find infinite gas. Cutter preordain. Do I hold it? Is there any reason to hold it? Yeah, they could have like static prison or something. That's a reason. So I'm gonna do just that. Could play the fetch. So let's see if a cutter can... I really don't think so. I think it's too late. Yeah. But in theory, if I find a bunch of removal, they don't attack here. Okay, they're afraid of Snapcaster. That's nice. That is a good equity of not playing the cutter. Ugh. Okay. Still have a bunch of gas. They chose to play this one. Okay. Might be able to attack. Okay, good ones, good ones. So how am I playing this? I want to bolt in their turn, I think. So I can... Am I winning this race though? That's the question. I'm gonna shoot the Squelcher. Question is if I should stay back. I guess I should stay back and try and grind an advantage here. Yeah, I think that's the plan. It's too early to attack. I only have one bolt here, so I still have... This one can't be countered. Well, it can. If I shoot here... Unfortunate that they hit a mana, but well, it's okay. Force Negation wasn't doing anything anyways. Do I want to attach, have a 2/2? Yeah, looks fine. Oh, my son is making a sound. I'm home alone, and son is sleeping, and I am counting on him to just sleep. So now, and I think that's usually what happens this time of day. Later at night, it's a different story. So what's in their hand? Are they gonna commit some more stuff? Good stuff. They only have good stuff. Where's the victory? That's medium. That is okay, but not amazing. So what's the priority to kill here if I find stuff? Like this combo hurts a lot. This combo makes a big creature. So basically, Voice of Victory is the key card here. Okay, let's take a flow state. Looking at Ponder, land, and nothing else, I think I can do better. That's, yeah, I think I can do better. So I'm hoping to just find 2 removal spells and get in for a bunch. Okay, Snapcaster is removal. And Cutter Naked is, if I draw anything, pretty strong. But I could draw nothing. Bubble I would be holding anyways. I think I'm gonna take the Snapcaster and the Cutter for the upside. So if I remove this, I have 8, 11 coming in. It's pretty strong. I am so far happy about Snapcaster. So they have 3 cards, 3 mana. They can still make some scary stuff happen. They can gain some life, etc. So this is not over yet, of course, because these are going to be small. They're going to be 2/2s with the Cutter. I think I might need a spell on top. But it doesn't have to be maybe instantly. It could be within 2 turns, maybe. Let's see. Another guy, that means more life. And that one, first strike is good. For sure, they can make a big flyer. Let's see what they find. They find a Pride. Yeah. So this is exactly what I was afraid of. They get life, they get a board presence, and now all of a sudden my tokens are not necessarily good enough. They can swing in a few turns. Yeah, energy is so strong. It's amazing. Yeah, Wasteland won't do it. I am dead. Super impressive. Energy is just... They have these turns, I feel like, I don't know if they plan for them or it's just that time comes where they have enough mana and the right cards, but they can turn the corner so impressively. I'm dead. Okay, it was a nice try. It was a nice try. Pyroclasm, let me draw you, please. So we have cards to bring in. We have these 6 that are bad. Sorry. Do we want one of those, or can we do some magic with something else? I think just a force is going to be better than a very bad random card. Oh yeah, I have this Pierce as well. What do you think about Pierce? That's pretty awful. Let's play 2 forces then. Yeah, I would like to have 2 removal spells or something, but this will do. This will do. And what are they? I don't think they have much of a sideboard. They don't need a sideboard for Izzet. They could have stuff, but like small improvements. But basically, it's the same deck, I think. More or less the same they're going to present. Yeah, we just... I think we were not far away from like 1 or 2 removal spells because they need those synergy pieces on board to like deal me damage, gain life, like make the flying threats. They need... If I just remove one of those, forget the name, but the 1/2 Guide of Souls, yeah. Like it's like a puzzle. It's a synergy puzzle, and I feel like I was pretty close to stopping their kind of energy Tron from being established. But yeah, it's tough. They're thinking a lot. I'm gonna pause. All right. 1 lander, huh? Without cantrips? That ain't keepable. 1 lander with cantrips? It's better. Let's do it. And get rid of a brainstorm, I think. Because I don't have bad cards. I don't have any bad cards left. My avenue is very clear here. Get Delirium on the channelers and play a Pyroclasm and win. I'm gonna keep that. It's a bit greedy maybe, but it's like I'm telling them I have a Pyroclasm if I bin it, and I mean, it might be very good to have 2. So it's also kind of telling them, sending them a sign that I don't have mana issues. So wastelanding is maybe a bad move. What they don't know is that it's a good move. But yeah, I think it's like showing strength, topping that card. But it's yeah, might be wrong. So the good thing about these paraclasms is that it's not game over if they establish some stuff. Let's ponder. Oh, that force of will. No lands. Not like this. Thank you. Ugly force of will. Now yeah, I'm sad I didn't I didn't have a brainstorm, but I only have 2 bad cards in the deck. 2 force of wills. Oh well. Oh well. Oh well. Such is life. No regrets. I need just an instant to have Delirium and a Pyroclasm proof Chandler. And I'll happily just take a 2-for-1 with the first one and hopefully win the game with the second one. That's the big plan at the moment. Okay, they have Wasteland Plow. I have just Sad Face. And yeah, that is not awesome. I think I should force this because it's not sure that I draw a land. On the other hand, I'm gonna say okay because I need like just a land and okay or yeah. There's the risk of them getting out of Pyroclasm reach here. This is good. Do I Wasteland? That's a bit risky, but I think it's actually okay. Because I want them to not play a lot of creatures this turn. And I think they just drew that Wasteland, otherwise they would have done it before, so they don't have another one. At Johnny, that is gonna be a problem. So here goes this force. They have 3 cards. I'm gonna have 2 cards. I mean, we have a game, right? I could go for a basic. Then I get wasted. Let's say I take an island here. I get wasted. I think I should try and it's very tough. It is very tough. I think it's gonna be a long game. So I think getting my basics is gonna be worth it. But I could be wrong. Oh yeah, sorry, they have 4 cards, I have 1. I'm so dead. I am so dead. That's okay though. They're playing, I think it's a good play. Maybe they had creatures, but they're just playing this to play around my removal. So they at least get the trigger value. Okay. What am I doing with this? I think I'm bolding, hoping that they play 2 spells at some point that I can Pyroclast. It's just not a game we're winning. By the way, they didn't shoot me. right? They forgot? Yeah, they forgot. Okay, well. And if I pyroclast them, they can, it's gonna, no, they die at the same time, so it's fine. I can pyroclast them here. It was a problem on the other turn because they would go to energy 3. Oh yeah, but they have Goblin Bombardment, so they're gonna flip. They're gonna flip regardless. That's the problem. They're gonna flip regardless. Hmm. This is awful. Hmm. How do I get out of this? Flow state to kind of move ahead, find a land, and end of turn. Yeah, the thing is, I need the bolt to shoot the Johnny when it's flipped. That's 3 loyalty. I guess I should just flow state and try to do both in one turn. Cutter and a land. They draw cards. Okay. See if they want to put more on the board. They want to flip. Okay. So now maybe I can cut a bolt. So I can shoot this, and that's what I'm gonna do with this on the stack. Don't want to take a risk here. That they plus it, which I'm pretty sure they would do. Wow, I've not much time. Okay, sad. I don't even want to play it though, because I think they could have Static Prison. But 6 minutes, jeez. Must be internet quality. It's not me being slow, right? They draw a card, okay. So just have a bunch of lands. Should have 6 a bit more. Nice. Let's get the beats going. I guess I have Static Prisons in hand or something. I guess I need to just play faster. For sure. F6. I have nothing. Okay. Voice and a waste. Pyroclasm is not good against that one. Snapcaster would be nice here. Wasteland is bad. I am just saying, playing Wasteland, saying go, so I can block. But with the Goblin Bombardment, this is gonna kill me pretty fast. Ugh. Okay. Well, better than nothing, but jeez, I need spells. Need cantrips and snapcasters. And a spell here, so I can attack Ajani at least, would be nice. Okay, they're gonna go straight to 5. No, okay. I'm toast. Toast. Yeah. Okay, I'll pay it. I'm completely dead if I don't play this. But I'm also dead without it. Yeah, energy is a beating. I do think that these games showed we have a chance, like a very reasonable chance, but it's still tough. We kind of need our deck to not stumble. I stumble in both of those games, them too, but I need to just have a slight advantage in the stumble math. Anyways, let's try round 3. All right, round 3, and I don't know what my opponent is on. I'm gonna keep. It's a weird hand, but looks a bit weird. But it has some protection, some gas, some wastelands. They milk into 5. Okay. So hoping this Force of Negation is what's up. Planar Nexus. Okay, Wasteland is what's up. Very much so. There's a case to be made, but they have so few cards that I don't think it's right. But there's a case to be made for playing, like developing the cutter before wasting. But in the world of Petrified Hamlet, I think that's a big mistake. We just want to get the wastelands off right away. If they didn't have that, if that card didn't exist, we could play like a volcanic, then a waste cutter, and then double waste because we have the Force of Negation. But yeah, it would be a reasonable thing to consider. Now that we're drawing lands, it's also we don't need in the opening hand I needed a wasteland to play a cutter, and I don't anymore. So be nice to draw a channeler or a bubble. That's the bubble. I'm keeping this for Force of Negation, I think. I'm just gonna play a fetch, and then next turn cutter bubble. And they have no more lands. Okay, I'm gonna fetch because I don't want to draw more lands, and I don't have a brainstorm. And I do already have a fetch, so I don't see any reason not to fetch here. So now we just need to double cutter. Next turn I can preordain. I cut a preordain. And we have, okay, so it's the blue one once again. They're down to 3 cards. I think I should let this go because I'm not getting my token anyway, and I have another cutter coming up. 1 cutter is enough. Okay, they don't play a trainer. Okay, nice one. So now I can play cutter Chandler instead. And save. Maybe I don't save actually, but I could get a basic just because I have some fetches that are picky to not get all the volcanics. I think the preordain will find something. I'd like to establish maybe just a board presence and hardcast with falsification. Maybe this is enough. I'm gonna try to just have a good draw spell next turn. Like find a good spell with a bubble and not be too slow. Could be wrong. Snapcaster with this hand is doesn't look amazing, but it is a blue card. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it. Under mine. So this game is definitely not won yet, but I feel like we should be able to navigate a win with these cards. Do I need to force now? A stock up. I think because they have so little gas, they only have 3 mana. I think it's okay to force here. Pitching the preordain seems a bit crazy. Yeah, I'll run a Force of Negation. Actually, I don't think I'm gonna have 3 mana. I'm gonna do it like this. I'm gonna try to be aggressive and force, like aggressive with the cutter. Maybe I'm changing my mind regardless to, that's a nice one, to what the bubble play. Like I'm changing the pace. And what do I waste here? Tower, mine, a blue source. I think I waste Tron land still. Let's preordain first. I do need to find a blue card, but this will get me Delirium. Okay, nice one. Let's have the Brainstorm for next turn. And Tower, I guess. They might not have a play next turn, so there is that. Even if they... Okay, yeah, too late to the party, sorry, friend. Yeah, no plays. And I will be brainstorming to see if I can make more damage happen. It's fine. So yeah, Cutter is a bit slow against combo. I consider Tron a combo deck, but they have removal. So against like Castle's Command and the Confluence and so on, it's really nice to have Cutter. I don't need to fetch because I have DRC filtering my top. Okay, got there. Game 1. That's sweet. So another blue Tron player. Maybe it's trending after my friend. He had a really good win percentage in the last I don't know, 20, 25 games he played. Sorry. So we have, yeah, I forgot to say how I bought it. So I can say that now. Bought out this. And I bought it out, I think, a Cutter and a Bobble. And is that correct? I think that looks fine. Yeah, don't need much to like chip in a Snapcaster. It can do it. Not if they resolve a Thunder Trap Trainer, but otherwise, Spell Pierce can have pretty good text. So yeah, we have a bunch of counter spells and 10 threats. That's a sweet setup, I think. Yep, 1 land, all the gas that we like, including the turn 1 Chandler. Having the forces is very clutch to protect in the turns where you have to tab out, where you don't have consign up, like the coming turn. If they have a Nexus and a play. But yeah, this is pretty sweet. Hope they don't play a trainer turn 2. Nexus. Alright, so let's see if they have force. What am I pitching? I guess Snapcaster. But it is a lot of cantrips. I'm gonna pitch a Brainstorm, I think. Because I think I might need to play this consign. Is that crazy? I don't think it's crazy. Okay, nice. So now we have consign up, and it goes wrong if we don't find a land. Okay, Wasteland is perfect. We almost have Delirium, but not completely. I'm gonna Brainstorm end of turn probably, and I could put Snapcaster such a way that I can put it in the bin with the Ponder to get Delirium. It's also an argument for not pitching it to force. Double tower, that's not scary at all. Well, they could have. Oh, nice one. Delirium. Now let's find consign and a land. Or that. I don't need the bubble. Just gonna draw the land. And ponder. Gonna fetch. Like I could find a wasteland, but wasting tower here is not very interesting. So I'm just gonna use my equity with a fresh look, surveil equity. by fetching, if that is clear. I'd like to find a Pyroblast. No. Pyroblast and a land in the top 3. Okay, there's a land. That gives me consign. I'm gonna draw the land because that's the only one I want for sure. The other one's whatever. But I won't shuffle. So we can get out carded if they have a bunch of gas. We have 1, 2, 3 counters. It's not bad. It's very good, but let's see. That's the one we want to waste. Flow state. Flow state for nothing special is okay. Okay, I don't think you should play flow state in that deck, but I could be wrong. Seems a bit weird. So now we'll draw a blue spell. And am I playing that blue spell to find Wasteland and or Wasteland and or Pyroblast? And am I binning the Brainstorm? I am playing it. What do I have here? Nothing special for Snapcaster. I don't want that Brainstorm, I think. I really want a Pyroblast. And a Wasteland. And a blue card is okay for force. That's basically the order. So consign is sweet. And I don't want that. Just a very classic tempo plan of a creature and a hand of counterspells. They have infinite mana. And the trainer, that's a problem. I'm gonna have to force that. Pitching Snapcaster, I guess. I have to consider the clock here. I'm gonna Yeah, I'm gonna pitch the Snapcaster. Feel like it's not what's up. Yeah, would have loved the Pyroblast for exactly this reason. Okay, I don't hate that. Attack to 10, play this. 2-turn clock, 2 consigns. Seems decent. They have so much mana, so they can bottleneck me for sure. Mine, okay, a bunch of mana, but they pass, so Caustic's Command. They just want to get me on the F6. Confluence. So because they have only 2 cards, but a bunch of mana, I'm not gonna replicate. I'm gonna fetch though. It's because if I have to consign again, then that surveil trigger is lost. don't think they have Force of Will. Snapcaster, yeah, I'll take this one. They do have Force of Will, so okay, so that is why the Snapcaster is nice. I could have played around that with what's the word, replicating. I just thought they would have forced before with the trainer here, but maybe they just drew the blue card. Anyways, I'm doing good here. Doot, 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 doot. And what can they draw? Blue cards that I can't interact with. That was not a blue card. And we're at 2-1. Nice one. And the next round is going to be played a different day. But hang on for round 4. All right, some days passed, and I had a lot of work. I had a lot of family responsibilities and so on. I also had the time to think a bit about the list, and it occurred to me that, which might be obvious for you, but regardless, it occurred to me that that Snapcaster is kind of making good matchups better, but not really helping in the few tough matchups. And I did have the perspective that like decks like Energy and Dimir that we can kind of hope to dodge at the moment, but I don't think that's true. So I think the recipe has to change. Also, regardless, I think just after playing a bit and thinking, I think that 3 is too many. I think if you want to play Snapcaster, 2 is the better number, and I'd play 1 Murktide here. But what I find really interesting is how to do something to be able to actually beat Energy. I'm just going to show you some stats from the last month. So this is from that site that I never remembered the name of. It's called MetaMage. Yeah. So as you can see, well, is the Delver still kind of a poor percentage, but also Dimir Tempo. So basically, Dimir Tempo decks are just getting pummeled, and they're getting pummeled by especially Energy. Look at this awful 25% win rate for Izzet, and Dimir 20%. It's really, I mean, there's a few games, but so this is just an indication, just like I said the last time. But still, something has to be done, and I think just playing that game against or those those games, sorry, against Energy, it made me realize that relying on Pyroclasm or Massacre is just not good enough when they know that we have it, because they can so easily present a board state which is not getting completely destroyed by Pyroclasm, but it's good enough to put us under pressure and gain an advantage every turn, either by combining like a 3 toughness creature, Voice of Victory, or Goblin Bombardment, or Ajani. Like they have many ways to present a good board state and not get utterly destroyed by Pyroclasm or Massacre. And of course, they know that it's in our deck. So I think it's really we have to be more creative if we want to beat Energy. And I don't think it's a good decision to try and dodge. Just going to show you a snapshot from my buddy Andreas Ikebaronen's Metagame Monday, where he, oh, not that one, hold up, where he goes through the challenge results from last week, and it shows that you have a bunch of Energy actually, like percentage-wise, it's really present. Um, And by the way, we can talk about just looking at these decks. I think that Snapcaster is, alongside Surgical, a real help, like an awesome help against these mini graveyard decks. It's very fine in the mirror because it's, I mean, it can trade poorly with a cutter token, but otherwise it's gonna be card advantage, and it's gonna have a real impact on the game going long, especially buying back Hydroblast or Pyroblast, which are clutch. So against the mirror, it's poor. Against sneak attack, it's very good, I think, getting more counter spells. Against Doomsday, it's fine. It's slow, but still fine. And then against the colorless decks, mostly Tron, I think it's great. This is like one of the reasons to have that 5th and maybe 6th consign at the ready. So I'd like to keep on building with Snapcaster, but it has to be in a way that improves the energy matchup, and that's a real challenge. And I'd like to hear if you have any ideas. I have ideas that are probably bad, like this one, Jide, because what I'm thinking is that these one-shot removal spells, well, if they're efficient, like Bolt and Heat, that's fine per se, but it's not going to beat their grind. But if we can stick a creature with Jide, maybe that can win the game. Of course, they have removal. They have plenty of removal, so ideally it would have to be with good old True Name. Are these cards just too bad in 2026? Like just like Snapcaster? Well, I think Snapcaster is not too bad. But what if the deck looks like that? Is that does that improve energy? I'd like to hear your thoughts. I don't have the time to finish the league in a proper way if I want to release the video today, Tuesday, which is what I want to do. So I'm gonna leave it at this, and try to work out, like, I'm gonna finish the league and at some point, and then I really want some nice creative solution for energy, with or without Snapcaster. Like, just to speak a bit about the pros and cons of True Name and Jide. True Name is slow. They don't have any ways to get rid of it, but they can go like over the top. So by itself, I don't think it's good enough. If it has a Jide, then I think it should be good enough to win. But can we defend playing a card like this with all the other matchups in mind? I don't know. We can equip a cutter to it and make it slightly bigger, but it's not that interesting. I feel like it's probably not good. I feel like Jide might be good enough, but is it good enough without a creature like this? It's tough. I don't have the answer, but I'd love to hear your ideas. And yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that and say thank you for watching, and hopefully see you next week with an awesome build of Izzet that makes energy at least a 50-50 matchup. But let's make it 60% in our favor, right? See you next time.